What do you do when everything piles up on you? When you feel like you're drowning? When your car and your washing machine break in the same week and your kid is having a meltdown and work is piling up on top of you? Or even more, when you're grieving, or when your relationships are breaking, or you're facing life-changing medical issues. I think we all have a degree of coping and resilience, but it does seem like there are periods in my life where everything just piles up on me at once, like flooding me with stress and fear. And sometimes I feel like I just can't get on top of anything. Now, when I was younger, I didn't know how to handle these painful moments, and I would often just drown in sadness, maybe feeling bad about myself or wallowing in resentment towards others. But as I've grown and practiced and observed others and watched them work through these things, and I've built up a system that helps me feel very confident that I can get through these overwhelming periods. And I feel very confident that you can too. So let's talk about some healthy, adaptive ways to work through life's crises when you feel like you're drowning. And I'll give you a little 3-step framework on how to do this, plus 3 examples of people who are figuring it out, including myself. So when you've been treading water for so long, or you've been trying to swim against the current, it's exhausting. But then a crisis comes along and it's like a giant wave, right? You've tried harder and harder, but it's not working anymore. In these moments, it's easy to think that this situation is terrible. This is a catastrophe. This is unfair. You might think like, why does this always happen to me? Or you might feel like giving up or withdraw into negative coping, like drugs or screens, or maybe you just feel really angry and resentful at the universe. You might think, I can't keep doing this anymore. And I'll quote Ibrahim, a fictional psychiatrist from the Thursday Murder Club. He says, "Never waste a good crisis." In each of these moments, we have the ability to choose. So when life overwhelms your current capacity, when your current skills and coping mechanisms just aren't cutting it, this might be the only type of opportunity to get you to level up and let go of your old coping skills and build new ones, better ones, healthier ones. This crisis might be a gift, a chance to stop treading water or just trying to keep your head afloat. Now, this is how I like to think about this. We reframe these situations as an opportunity to level up. And often when I see these crises, it's the toughest people who are the ones who get themselves into these situations because they're trying so hard to do it all by themselves. Let me give you an example. I recently talked with a woman in our membership. Let's call her Kay. She was divorced from an abusive husband, and she's a single mom to 2 girls. And all of this is on top of her very demanding career. So for years, Kay has been okay. She's done everything in her power to hold it all together, to work harder, to study more self-help, and then be the perfect mom. She was also the stalwart for her family. Everyone talked to her and reached out to her for support in her family. And then a close family member ended his life by suicide. And it came completely out of the blue. No one knew he was struggling. And now everyone in her family is relying on her, and they keep reaching out to her for support. So with all this stress and demands, Kay feels like she's drowning now. Her body's falling apart, and she just can't do it anymore. How could this be an opportunity to level up instead of a catastrophe? Now, I do want to say first, if I was sitting with her, I would absolutely spend time listening and feeling with her. It's okay that things are hard. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to grieve. Whether our world is falling apart or it's someone else's, I think it is important to give a time and a space to feel and express emotions. That's okay. And then when Kay is ready, when you're ready, we're going to frame this crisis as an opportunity to level up, to learn and grow. This crisis is an opportunity to do something different. So maybe your whole life you've been treading water. Maybe you've been stuck in survival mode. Now, this crisis is a chance to build more sustainable ways to manage your life. The ocean might continue to be rough and choppy. We can't change the size of the ocean. We often can't change the amount of stress that our life puts on us, but we can add to our resources. So that's the next step. Number 2 is get curious and ask, like, what skills or resources am I lacking? Okay, so Kay's previous coping mechanisms were to try to do everything herself, to try to be the strong one, to hold it all together for her family. And that has worked well in some situations, but it isn't working for her anymore, and now she's drowning. Sometimes we cannot make the situation any easier, but we can build in more resources to help. And that's what my membership is for. I have 10 courses that can help you build up the skills and resources to work through emotional problems in a healthier way. And you can start by checking out the free grounding skills course where you'll learn to regulate your nervous system. That's an example of a skill that maybe you didn't have before and you can learn, and that's going to help you level up. Instead of just trying harder, swimming harder, maybe it's time to add in a life jacket, right? Maybe it's time to get a better boat, right? This is a paddle. It doesn't look like it, but it is. There we go. Knowing that the old way of coping isn't working anymore brings us to this third part of our framework, which is also getting support, right? Asking for help to do something different. So with all of you beautiful people who are drowning in overwhelm, many of you are the people who would never ask for help unless you were pushed beyond your limits. So perhaps this crisis is a beautiful opportunity to do that, to ask for help. So I encouraged Kay to reach out for support, to build up her support instead of trying to do it all by herself. Therapists in general can provide a lot of support and new skills or new ways to think about a problem. And in my membership, Kay is watching videos and learning new skills. Now, of course, my membership isn't the only place to do that. Like, there are tons of self-help books and videos out there. The important thing is that you start adding in resources. But then these crises are also an opportunity to be vulnerable and ask for help. I love this news story about how we can come to rescue each other. 9 people in Florida got caught in a riptide and they could not save themselves. But then strangers started forming a human chain that grew to 80 people. In my experience, people just need to know that you're struggling. So reach out to those people who can help. With Kay, I encouraged her to share with her family that she's not okay. This is so powerful because without the crisis, she would have just kept trying to do everything on her own. But by opening up, she actually started modeling a completely different approach to problems in her extended family. And that created a new normal where people now talk about their emotions. Right? This is like one of the best forms of suicide prevention, but this crisis has led to helping the family heal by doing something different instead of just simply demanding more from herself, trying harder, swimming harder, right? Again, like, what are these new skills to build a more sustainable life? For Kay, instead of simply just demanding more from herself, this might be a chance to be more compassionate with herself, to take the time to build up her self-care and to improve her mental health. Kay could spend some time on shore, which might look like loosening the idea of herself as a perfect mom, maybe allowing her girls to watch more TV so she has time to process her grief. She could practice self-care and self-compassion, and all of this is like building up a more sustainable approach to managing emotions. Okay, let me give you another example. Kurt is a YouTuber I've been following for almost a decade. He and his friends make these fun videos searching for history and treasures while metal detecting. But in 2024, he missed a big detecting trip to Scotland with his friends, and everyone was wondering what was going on.
What's up, YouTube? This isn't easy for me, so I'm gonna more or less get right into it. I have everything I've always dreamed of: a beautiful, loving wife, healthy children, a close family, and amazing friends that I also consider family. Unfortunately, because of some work-related issues, I've been battling with some sort of depression for the last 10 plus years. I became a first responder at a very young age. I've seen some horrible things up close and personal. all with minimum tools and manpower, which first triggered depression in this usually happy-go-lucky boy in front of you. Lately, I've been attending way too many line of duty and active member funerals, which has also taken a toll on me. I've always been good at helping other people. I'm much better at giving versus receiving. Unfortunately, I wasn't taking care of myself. I'd like to think of it as an internal trash can. I've been filling it up and smashing it down and filling it up and smashing it down over and over and over. My trash can finally floweth over. I've been emotionally numb for way too long because I've hidden my emotions as well. Long story short, luckily before I went down a rabbit hole, which is a bottomless pit, my loved ones noticed a change in my mindset and behavior, and they helped me help myself. For the last month, I voluntarily checked myself into a wellness center for first responders, and for the first time in my life, I was getting some help for me. So that's where I've been, completely cut off from the world.
Now, I get to hear stories like this pretty frequently in therapy, but I'm really grateful to him for sharing his publicly. So Kurt had a couple of skills that worked for him for a while. He took care of others. He stuffed away his emotions. He just kept busy. And this worked for a while, right? Just endure, just try harder, drink the beer, eat the cake, stuff the emotions into his trash can. But he reached a point where he couldn't cope anymore and he was drowning. He had to try something different. So his crisis brought him an opportunity and he took it. He asked for help and he checked into a wellness center where he learned new skills. He started talking about what he really thought and felt, and he stopped trying to do it all alone. I was really happy to see he released this video a few months later.
I feel like I've been taking more steps forward versus steps back. So that's good. I've been slowly mustering enough motivation to get myself up and out. It's hard getting out of bed sometimes. Haven't had a whole lot of success sleeping in my life. Up and out doing the things that make me happy. I do believe that now I'm at least moving in the right direction. Before, I wasn't worried about what direction I was moving in, but I was just moving at full throttle.
Now, there was no magic fix, but at the very least, he wasn't just doing the same thing, hoping that his depression would magically go away. He tried something different. So I emailed him last week and I asked him, "How are you doing, Kurt?" And here's what he said. "I've been excellent. Thank you for checking in on me. It took a lot to get to this point. I'm so very thankful for the friends and the family I have. All the best, Kurt." So what he's done is through this crisis, he built a more sustainable way to work through his emotions. It's like building a boat instead of trying to tread water forever. Now, sometimes with a crisis, you do have to push through for a little while. You do have to try harder. But most of the time, a crisis presents an opportunity to level up. And I was just super happy that Kurt found a way to make that work for him. Okay, on to example number 3. It's me. Last November, I found myself drowning a little bit. I was like drowning under the stress of parenting, running a business, maintaining a marriage, managing my own physical health. Things were really stressful, and it felt like my family was kind of breaking apart at the seams. One of my kids was really struggling, and Ryan and I couldn't seem to agree on what to do about it. So I was worried, I was not sleeping well, I was completely exhausted. And so I just got to this point, like I can't keep doing this anymore. Something has to change. Now, 20 years ago, I might have curled up in bed and felt sorry for myself, but I'm learning through experience to trust myself through these crises. I knew that this was a chance for me to do something different and to grow. So that was step 1, right? This crisis is an opportunity to level up. Okay, so I got curious. What have I tried over and over again that's not working? Which is like, doing it all myself. What could Ryan and I do to get on the same page? What could we do to have more energy? What could we do to prevent drama or problems with our kids? So Ryan and I together made a list of ideas. We had more hard conversations. We were more willing to talk with medical providers about medication options. I was more willing to truly question myself and what I'm doing to make this situation harder. Which included like taking on too many things and perimenopause and maybe an ADHD diagnosis. and anxiety and too much caretaking and just over functioning and protecting others too much. And so I had to learn to do less and ask for more support and help. So then we took the time to learn new skills. I had to practice allowing other people to be more responsible for their stuff and not try to take care of them so much. I had to learn more skills like being more assertive and setting better boundaries, like saying no to podcast guests that I don't really want. I had to choose to cut my workload in half. I'm doing half as many videos in 2026 as we did in previous years. And this is hard for me, but I'm willing to try something new. And the other thing I added in was meditation. Like I'm giving meditation practice a serious effort. So I've been practicing meditating most days. I'm going to try to do it for this whole year and see how that impacts me. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually occasionally enjoying meditation, which is very new for me. Anyway, so I'm trying all these new things. We're doing something different. We're leveling up as parents. And guess what, guys? Everything's magically better. Just kidding. Okay. They aren't, but there are still some real difficulties that we're working through. I'm still a work in progress. So is my husband. So are my kids. But we already have seen some huge changes. Like Ryan is more equipped to step up as a parent. I've decreased my workload. We've tried some new things that are helping, and we tried some new things that didn't work. And that's okay, right? I really think it's better to be failing in new ways than to just keep making the same mistakes, because I know that I'm learning and I'm growing as a human being. For me, like my spirituality and my belief in God's plan for me and his love for me helped me to have the courage to keep doing the work. And I'm curious for you, like when you're in a crisis, what helps you get through the tough times? Like comment below if you're willing. I'd love to read those. Okay, so you'll see a common theme with these three examples, Kay, Kurt, and myself. You get a chance to come at these crises with a growth mindset. You get curious, and then you try something different that's going to be a new, more sustainable way to manage these crises. And I think one of the most important things is that you just create some flexibility to do something new and treat yourself with kindness and compassion. As you add to your skills and your resources, it's like you're building a bigger and bigger boat, and your capacity to navigate bigger and rougher waters will keep growing. I hope this helps you have a framework for dealing with your own crises with hope and compassion and growth. Thank you so much for being here, and please take care.